and Crochet. We're here with April from OTH Crochet Nook. For those of you that are just getting started with WeCrochet, you've just heard about us, you're just joining us. We are a new brand we just launched in the last year. You can find us on crochet.com. We're all about crochet all the time. We have a magazine, patterns, crochet hooks, yarn, everything you need to get started with crocheting. You can find it on crochet.com. We're so excited today to have Coffee and Crochet with April. She's one of the designers that we work with who creates some fantastic crochet designs. And because it is Coffee and Crochet, April, what are you drinking this morning?
Right now, I always drink 2 drinks a day. So first is a tea with just almond milk. This second one, which is now before lunch, is my espresso. It has almond milk and just a little bit of brown sugar. And that's it. Really
brown
good.
Sugar. That is a good idea. I love almond milk too. I'm gonna have to try it with some brown sugar. That's awesome. So again, if you're just joining us, we are here. We're WeCrochet. We're here with April from OTH Crochet Nook. Please like our videos, comment along, ask some questions. We'll get April to answer them for you. Please share the video so other crocheters can find us too. April, let's talk a little bit about your crochet background. How did you get started crocheting? How did you learn?
Yeah, when I was about 10, my grandma showed me like basic stitches. I'm talking like chain and like single crochet. That was it. And I was like, got really obsessed with it. And I had these like plastic toy hooks. And then I don't know, I just kind of got out of it and like New Kids on the Block got in the way or something like that. And then I carried on with life and I got married and I had, on my first maternity leave, I actually decided, I was like, you know what, I'm home, I'm going to pick it up again. So I went to my craft store in my town and I just kind of bought a crochet hook and some yarn. And that's kind of how I just started again. And I started watching like YouTube videos on just like different stitches. And yeah, and when I was showing my grandma at the time when I was learning, she was like, how do you even know how to do this or make this? And then I showed her this world of crochet and on YouTube and she was like so shocked. So she was like, oh my gosh, like she's from Portugal and they call stitches like different things. So she would tell me all these different names for all the stitches, but we would always talk crochet together. But that's kind of how I started. Yeah. So my grandma taught me.
That's so cool. I also crocheted with my grandma, and I think it is really interesting that kind of that generation of crocheters is really like rooted in either kind of like the classic granny square or like doilies and lacy type stuff. So when they see some of the cool stuff that you make, it is really surprising for them to see kind of they didn't know crochet could do such cool things. It's really progressed a lot.
Yeah, like my jumbo hooks that are like 10
yes.
or she just always laughed at them like, what is this? Never seen those before. All of her hooks are like very tiny, like 2 millimeters. Like they're just, she would just be like, what is this? Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. My grandma too. So you helped with your grandma kind of learning all the things that crochet could do. How did you make that step into starting to design your own patterns? What was that process like?
Yeah. So when I started, I started making things for family and friends, which is a lot of our makers out there. They do that. And once I got into pattern designing, I was like, you know what, I'm going to start writing patterns and see how that goes. And I kind of just dipped my toe in a little bit. I did like a basket and a blanket, and it was a learning curve. And I think writing patterns isn't just like overnight. You got to be able to, you know, customize it, figure out what's easy for everyone. Think about beginners. I'm always thinking about people. If they're reading my pattern for the first time ever and they're crocheting like, you know, only a few months, that's how I write my patterns, really detailed. And I started to really love designing. I was like, I love doing this. I love making things for makers because creativity is where it really thrives from. And I love being creative and trying to come up with different things that people can make, but I love making it beginner friendly. Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. I think, there are so many people who are getting started with the craft, so focusing on beginners. And I think a skill that you really have that I really admire about your crochet work is that it is beginner friendly, but it also is like really unique and very cool and very fashionable. And just projects that I'm really excited to make. Can you talk a little bit about how you started turning that into a business as you kept growing that design portfolio?
Yeah, of course. Well, I wanted to, you know, start a website. And I think if anybody's watching right now and they've never done anything like that, or they feel like, oh, I don't know about making a website. I didn't know anything about it. And I just asked friends that already had them, or I went to, you know, you can find really easy templates online where you're just dragging and dropping and writing a couple texts. Like right now we live in this world, you don't really have to do much. You don't really have to learn, you know, how to build a website. So for me, that was a little scary, but I really wanted to do it because I wanted to just start something that I could do on the side, because I do have another full-time job. So I was like, you know what, if I start this website, I can just do a few patterns here and there and just see where it takes me. So building the brand kind of, you know, built up over the year or 2 years, and it went very quickly, way faster than I thought. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful that, you know, people want to see what I'm designing. So I was really doing it for fun to start. And I was like, this is something that I like doing and I just want to do it. And if 5 people read it, I'm good with that. But, you know, it really pushed really quickly. So I'm having to really manage my time now. But building a brand is something that takes time and you need patience. So if you're watching this right now and you're about to start, don't give up and keep going, and just try to keep everything consistent and ask for help. That's the biggest advice I can give you. Ask for help that people already have. You have friends that have their own companies and their own brands and their own websites. Ask them. Yeah.
That's great advice. That's great advice. And I think in talking with you and a lot of the other contributors we work with, you can really see that a lot of your businesses that have all become super successful are really rooted in a passion for what you do. And it's so clear that you really, really love the craft and you love working with people and building community and making things for other makers. We kind of skipped over this, but OTH Crochet Nook, what does that stand for? And how did you come up with that name?
So I originally had Off the Hook Crochet, and in our maker industry, there's a lot of people that come up with all these funky names. And I saw a lot of other makers had Off the Hook, which is totally fine. But I kind of just wanted to be like, you know what, I'm gonna just abbreviate that. So I just did OTH, and then it kind of made it my own. Because the main thing, going back to building brand, you gotta be that person where they see something and they already know it's you. That's the biggest thing about building your brand. Like when I see an Instagram of WeCrochet, without even seeing WeCrochet, I know it's from you guys, because it's the same look, it's the same colors, it's the same layout. That's just what it is. So I wanted it to be something so they know they could just say OTH, and that would be me, instead of being like a bunch of other off the hooks. That's what it was.
Yeah. Awesome. So you talked a little bit about how you also have a day job and you have 2 young kids. How do you manage it all? A crochet business, a really busy day job, kids, especially right now while everyone's at home. How's that going?
When you say it out loud, it sounds, and I'm like, I don't even know when you say it out loud, but I do it. So yeah, I have 2 daughters that are 4-year-old and 6-year-old. They keep me very busy, but they're a little bit older now, so it's got a little bit easier. And I have a full-time job. I work at a local TV station, and I'm a TV producer. So I produce morning TV and daytime TV shows. And it's been interesting since we've had this whole stay at home. We've been producing shows from home. So it's a lot, but both jobs that I have, designing crochet patterns and as a TV producer, I couldn't ask for more. Like they're both so interesting, and they're both so different. But I have to be creative in both, which I think really brought my outlet of my crochet business when I brought it in, because I've been a TV producer for 14 years now. And yeah, and when I started, I studied television in university. And when I started as a receptionist in one of a very popular TV station that we have in downtown Toronto. And I just kept bothering people and building, networks and talking to people to try to get to work in one of the TV shows. And after doing 9 internships unpaid in university, I finally was able to get a TV job. But yeah, I've been doing it for 14 years. I love it. I love producing. I meet a ton of celebrities. I meet regular people. We get to help people. and I love my day job, and I love crocheting. So I feel really lucky for that.
Do you have, so we were kind of joking, talking about getting ready for our Facebook Live, like producer Sarah's going to count us down. It felt silly telling you that that's the way we do it. But is it like a pretty stressful job? Are you doing stuff all the time, or do you ever have time to work on your crochet projects while you're at work, or
yeah, so obviously when we were at work, I would literally be doing everything crochet would be night. So it would be like after I get home, after the kids are in bed. So I only get, I think, and this has been for like, I don't know how, over 10 years. I only get like 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. I don't know if that's a lot or a little, but it's kind of a little. But that's it, because I wouldn't have time. So I have to work on my blog. I got to work on my patterns. I got to, you know, think of ideas, work on my Pinterest boards. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's always something to do crochet. So I always do it at night or on the weekends, and everything during the day is obviously my day job. So, but yeah, it is a balancing act. And I think since we've been home, hopefully my boss is not watching, but I do crochet sometimes when we're on our virtual meetings. And that's, see, like right now, you can't tell if I was crocheting, right?
Yeah.
So like
we crochet at meetings too. Yeah.
Totally. I know, but you guys could that's probably okay. I don't know.
That's our job.
It's your job. But you know, I would just be like, and she couldn't see it. So yeah, anyways. I don't know.
I think yes, because I remember being in high school even, and I had a friend that would crochet during class, and the teacher kind of frowned upon it. But sometimes it can be that thing that's kind of like, especially if you've got a really repetitive stitch, it can kind of help keep your mind from wandering, and can almost help you stay more focused even sometimes. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but
yeah, for sure. Like as a knitter or a crocheter, if I'm watching TV, it cannot have subtitles because I'm always looking down. But when you're talking about those patterns that are very repetitive, I can watch a show that has subtitles because I'm just like, you don't have to. Yeah, but on that, I do find it very relaxing, and I found it kind of a little escape from everything that's going on in our world right now. I love that I'm able to have a craft and a hobby because it really calms you right down. Like I love it. I love that it does it instantly. Yeah, it really does.
I agree. It's helped me a ton during this time too. Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break, April, and check in with some of the people that are watching today and read off some of their comments. So people are watching from all over. We've got people from Venice, Florida, Portland, Oregon, Oak Lawn, Illinois, Toronto, where you are.
Yay, Toronto.
Yay. So thank you all for watching. It's so great to have you here with us for Coffee and Crochet with April from OTH Crochet Nook. And then Nicole Chase says, good morning. Jess L. Davis says, good morning. Thank you for allowing me to listen and hopefully learn more. Blanche says, hi. Says Baez says, good morning. Tammy Green Potter says, family and friends. Yep, it's a learning curve. Absolutely. Nadine Johnson, who's a tester for WeCrochet. Hi, Nadine. She says, good morning, Sarah and April. Oh, and then Nicole Chase also added, since being home, I crochet during meetings, but I didn't crochet in meetings at the office. I don't think that would be allowed.
I wish that was allowed. No, maybe in your office, but not in my office. No, people would be like, you cannot do that. No.
Yeah. Absolutely. So thank you all for watching and for commenting. Please keep commenting, asking questions of April. We'll read them off and get some answers from her. Again, if you're just joining us, we are WeCrochet. We're a brand entirely devoted to crocheters. You can find us on crochet.com. And we're here with April with OTH Crochet Nook. And now we are getting to my very, very, very most favorite part of these Facebook Lives, April. And that is where we get to show and tell some of the projects that you've worked on and some of the patterns that you've created. So do you have some projects close by that you could share with us?
I have a lot. So the one I released for in April for my birthday was my celebration raglan, which is right here. But this is actually my first raglan ever. I've been crocheting for so long and I never made a raglan, a top down, ever. So I wanted to do that and the main reason was because people who are watching right now, or, you know, if you have never made one, you were able to do it because I wrote it like that. So that's how the pattern is. The pattern is like, you've never done one before, you can do this. So,
so question for you on that, because raglans, I think, are such a tricky thing to navigate, especially when you're the designer, because you have to do so much math to figure out like the dimensions for your neckline, and then the dimensions for your bust and for your sleeve, and then your rate of increase. Had you made many raglans before, or did you just start off designing one?
I just started off designing one. I literally just did it. I'm more of a visual learner, so I think maybe if someone really needs something like on paper and they need somebody to tell them, I need to make this exact amount of chains for this exact size, then that's not my website's not going to help you, because I'm just being totally honest. It's more customizable for you, but you would need to, you know, base it on yourself, measuring your own body or measuring whoever you're making it for. And I lay it all out, and it's very easy and simple in that way if you follow that along. Yeah. So
totally. And that's the thing that I love the most about top down raglans or circular yokes. I'm getting really into raglans and circular yokes right now, so I'm going to have to check out your pattern and try that one out. But I do love, you can try it on as you go. So like, as you said,
that's what it did. You just keep trying it on until it fits you. And then once you reach the point you want, then you just do the bottom. Yeah, that's
exactly. And I think, is it hawthorn yarn that you used for that pattern?
Hawthorn yarn. Yes. This was the tie-dye speckle. Yeah.
Oh
my God. It's so beautiful.
I love it. And I love hawthorn. So I love raglans. I love hawthorn. Producer Sarah is probably listening. I have so many projects on my list, but this one is definitely one I have to add. I love that project so much. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. And I have this one is my bright side sweater. I really wanted to make like different stripes, but I found in crochet, once you make stripes together, they kind of bleed into each other. So I made this design really simple where I did back loop only for all the stripes. So that way they don't bleed into each other. They kind of sit nicely like how a knitting looks. Like I'm always trying to find ways to, I know so many people that are like, oh, I don't like the way crochet looks. Like, I don't like it, right? Because it doesn't this, or it's not this, or so I'm trying to find like different ways to make it be like, no, you can make them. They don't have to look like they're bleeding into each other. Like, so that was my goal.
That's such a good tip for anyone who's wanting to make stripes, to try it in the back loop only. I have not done that, but I'm going to do that anytime I make stripes in the future. And I think you're so right. The cool thing about crochet is that there are so many ways to just like slightly manipulate how you do a stitch to fix almost any problem.
Yeah, and I think there's a knit stitch crochet one that you like have to use single crochets only in the round, but you're working it right into the V. It takes really long if you have a lot of patience, but it does look like a knit stitch. Yeah,
it does. Yep. Oh, I love that one. Okay, what else do you have?
And then I have my We Want the Chunk sweater. I love
that yarn. Is so fun.
I love that. It's literally the chunkiest sweater ever. I love coming up with names for projects. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. And I think, is that Tough Puff?
It's Tough Puff. Yeah.
I love that yarn too. That's a favorite in the office for sure, because projects go so quickly with that. How long do you think it took you to make that sweater?
Yeah. If I was doing this straight, I would say 2 hours, 3 hours. Because it's so chunky.
That's amazing. So if anyone wants to make a sweater in 2 to 3 hours, get some Tough Puff, get April's pattern,
extra big yarn, and you're good to go.
Yes. Check it all out on crochet.com. And then I think we've also got Sarah following along. She should be linking to the pattern in the comments. So if anyone who's getting ready for fall or winter weather and you want a sweater that's 2 to 3 hours, that is amazing. That is amazing. Go get her pattern. Make it today.
Yeah, but not outside in the heat wave. Right now is the heat wave. We don't want to do that. Inside, air conditioned. This is one other one. Chroma Twist is a gorgeous. Chroma Twist from you guys from WeCrochet. The skeins are all the balls are all different. And I've been starting this C2C blanket. This will be out, I think, September. But yeah, I love it because it's different in every single. I just pick up a ball and I just go, and it just makes everything just looks so gorgeous. It looks like you planned it out so perfectly, but I didn't do anything. I just picked up the ball and just started doing it. So it just comes out really nice. Yeah.
That's awesome. Have you done a lot of C2C projects before, or is this kind of your...
Sara, this is my first one.
Yay! First C2C. I love it. Oh, and it looks so good.
Yeah,
we actually just put up, so one of the things we're working on at crochet.com is we have a learn button on our site where we're trying to get more articles up. And I think we just got up an article on how to do C2C because it is such a fun technique. And I really love what you've done with Chroma. It just, oh, it looks so good. Like really so good. Was it a tricky technique for you to learn, or do you think you picked it up pretty quickly? Or
yeah, I think I was intimidated by it a little bit. But I had a couple books on it and I looked at a couple of videos and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do this right now. Let's just try. And I'm just gonna do a solid color. I'm not gonna do a design or anything. And I just found once you get it, you memorize it so quickly. It's like one of those mindless projects that you can do and just sit and watch TV. So or
do it during meetings.
Or do
secretly
it during a meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I did during my meeting. This is
yay. Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah.
We've actually got a couple comments coming in. So we've got Catherine who says, hi, I'm in West Indian Island, Martinique. So thank you so much for watching all the way from Martinique. It's great to see you. And then Tammy Green Potter says, crochet is definitely unique and we have more control than knitters when it comes to versatility. I love that. And so I think that was in reference to your stripes with the back loop only.
Yeah, like I would definitely choose, well, I would choose crochet over knit. I know other people would think differently, but I feel like when you make a mistake in knitting, I stress out. Like I'm like, right?
Me too. Yeah.
I stress out, but crochet is just pull it out, just start it again. Like you're good, right? The rows, but knitting, I'm like, oh my God, I made a mistake. And then I just get unmotivated and I just stop.
Totally. You either have to like knit backwards or just start over.
With crochet, is where it's at for me for that. And it's definitely flexible to do different things. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. We also have Nicole Chase commenting. She says Tough Puff is on my list to try. So Nicole, I would definitely recommend trying April's sweater. You cannot beat a sweater in 2 to 3 hours. That's awesome. And then we also have Nadine Johnson who said she can't wait to try C2C. So it's definitely a fun technique. And that color changing the Chroma Twist yarn is a really fun yarn to try with that too. So back to your show and tell, April. I want to see what other projects you've got there to share. I know you've got a few more.
I have. Oh yeah. So I released a dress this morning. It's the everyday dress. Yeah, I am obsessed with the fact that I was able to do a dress. Like I've been dying to do a dress as one of my designs, and I thought it would take a lot of time, but you're not gonna be able to see this because it's super long. But the panels are over 110 inches long. It's 2 panels. Yeah, so 2 panels, they're both 110 inches long, and you literally just, it's like folding them over your shoulder and seaming them together. If you can picture that, leave a neck open, and I just seamed it together like that. I put a belt on it, and it's like the most easiest maxi dress you will ever make. And it's definitely mindless crocheting. It's literally just double crochets and skipping some stitches. It's very easy, and I'm so happy about this design. I love how this came out. You know how like you think of something in your mind, you're like, okay, is this gonna work? But it worked, and I'm like, yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So you, as we were like emailing back and forth yesterday, talking about getting ready to chat today, you sent me a picture of that project, and I have to say I am so excited about that dress. And I went in and I read your blog post on it this morning because you just released it this morning.
Literally, just
super exciting.
Hours ago.
Yeah. So everyone be sure to check out. We'll get a link to it in the comments. Go read April's post about it. It's super awesome, super simple, but really just a stunning dress to wear for the summertime. So I've been getting into sewing a lot during our time at home, and I made I've been making this caftan dress that's just rectangles like over and over and over again. And so as soon as I saw your dress, it's like, it's the crochet version of what I've been sewing. I need to make that.
Perfect. That's awesome. I have a machine that I need to brush off the dust and do that. I really need to get back into sewing. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about your dress more than that sewing project for sure. And I think Is the yarn that you used?
I used Hawthorne DK.
Hawthorne
It was
DK.
bare. It's bare. It's just the one that's just bare. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
any DK weight or even a lightweight, if you have more patience than I do and you want to use like
Mm-hmm.
a fingering or lightweight, you definitely can, because it's very customizable. I laid it out in the pattern of how to measure the width of your panels, because that's all the only measurement you need. And then you just go ahead and just make your 2 panels and seam them together.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So I had 2 thoughts about reading about the Hawthorne DK. One is just to give everyone who's listening the heads up that if you head over to crochet.com, our Hawthorne yarn is actually typically a fingering weight. So if you get it in any of the colors, it is a fingering weight, but you used the bare version, which is DK. And I actually have not used that yarn yet. I'm going to go swipe some up and start it, because the other thing about our bare yarns, which is super cool, is they're meant for dyeing. Yeah. So that's another fun thing that I'm hoping to get into more this summer before the summer ends, is like some indigo dyeing and stuff out in the backyard. So if you use the Hawthorne DK, you can do maybe some dip dyeing with that dress. And so
should I dye this?
Oh, that would be so cool.
What color? I know, I should totally. I don't know. I like neutrals, but I'm like,
I do too.
Maybe I should dye it. Tempting.
I think that's one where I would have to make multiple versions, because I am with you. I really like the neutrals. You can wear it with anything, like the nice leather belt, how you've got it styled in your photos. But yeah, dyeing it would be fun too.
Yeah, I've never got into that. I definitely would like to try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, just to clarify and explain a little bit better, our bare yarns are essentially yarns that have not been dyed, and they've been kind of pre-washed and pre-treated so that you can dye them super easily. But they're also just a really lovely neutral color if you're into neutrals too. So
and it works up really quickly. The DK.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I think, have we talked about the top that you're wearing? Because that's a design of yours as well, right?
This is the Hey June top. And a lot of my designs are really like a lot of squares. So like you just kind of put them together and they make a top, right? So I kind of made, it's just literally 2 squares of this really cute daisy pattern. When I saw this, I was like, oh, that doesn't look too beginner friendly. And that makes me like, because I really always want people to see my patterns and be like, that looks easy. But when I tried it, I was like, oh, this is actually really easy. It just it makes it look a little bit intermediate. It's really not. It's super easy. And I just added this little ruffle here to just give a little bit of a sleeve. But cute. This one it's really easy to make. This is with Kotlin.
I love Kotlin. Sweet. And I think you have another version of that top that you've made as well that's in a kind of brighter color.
It's in the Chroma Twist.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same. It's Chroma Twist. Yeah.
Oh, that looks so nice.
Wow. Yeah. That's the Chroma Twist. I think it's in Go-Go Boots. I think that's the one I have. Yeah, it's Go-Go Boots. This is like such a cool yarn because this is the same. Look, these are the same, but they're different colors. That's what you get when you get Chroma Twist.
Yeah, it's just
like
it's
a surprise.
Yep, yarn surprise, definitely. What I really love about your patterns so much, April, I just have to say, I think you've got like a really excellent balance of like bright and powerful and playful and also like neutral and classic. And this top, how you've made it in both yarns, like really shows how you kind of encapsulate both of those. We have a lot of talks on the crochet team. I think anyone who listens to our podcast, we have a podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the WeCrochet podcast, go subscribe. But Heather, who also hosts Facebook Lives, we talk a lot about how I'm kind of the neutral person. I like to make things in white. I would love the top that you're wearing, the dress that you made, that maxi dress, like totally my style. Whereas Heather is much more into making that like bright green tough puff sweater. And the Chroma Twist, she's all about that. So I just really love how you encapsulate both of those styles so well in the work that you do. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I'm trying to cater to everybody because I know a lot of people are just like grays in the winter and neutrals in the summer. You're like, yes, that's me.
That's me. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm trying to do both.
Awesome. Are there any other favorite yarns that you've been working with, or any project? I know you're working on Corner to Corner with Chroma Twist.
I have this really beautiful, one of my friends is having a baby and she's like, can you please make me a blanket? So on the odd occasion, I'll say yes, because I know we were talking about that offline. We were like, do you say yes or no?
Right.
But,
yeah.
This is Snuggle Puff. It is so soft. If you guys ever feel this or get your hands on this, this color is called Platypup. And I'm making just a shell stitch blanket. It's coming out really, really nice.
Oh, that is nice.
So soft, like ridiculous. It feels like, I don't even know what this feels. It's just like ridiculous. So soft. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now.
How fun. It's a fun project. And that yarn goes so quickly. It's kind of like thicker and soft, and it can work up projects really fast. Not quite as fast as the Tough Puff, but
not quite as fast, no.
but close. You
need a really big hook for that. For
yes.
For
totally.
Yeah.
So we are about out of time. April, can you tell everyone watching where they can find you on social, where they can find your patterns, how they can support your work? Where are you?
OTHCrochetNook.ca. All my patterns are free, and that's where you can find me. And also on Instagram at OTH Crochet Nook. So you can email me, message me anytime. I'm really good at getting back to people. I feel like I love getting questions about my patterns and helping me. Like if I made a mistake or if they think, oh, this was better, or I use your advice, and please tell me. I won't take any offense. I love questions. I love emails. So please send me everything. So yeah, you can find me, OTHCrochetNook.ca.
Awesome. We'll be sure to get a link to that in the comments. And again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for Coffee and Crochet with April. You can find us on crochet.com. You can follow us on Facebook, where you are right now. We're also on Instagram. We have a podcast. You can also follow along with any new patterns that April's releasing. Sometimes we'll share those in our emails. So if you hop onto crochet.com, there's a little subscribe to newsletter button. Click that, subscribe, get emails. We have tutorials in there, yarn sales. We like to promote work of designers like April. So be sure to check us out. And April, thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to see all the projects you have.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I love you guys. You guys are just the sweetest. I love that we have a platform for just crocheters. It just makes my heart melt. I'm so happy that we're able to all come together. Thank you so much for joining, for allowing me to join you today. It's fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, April. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week for Coffee and Crochet. Bye.
Bye.